All right, this is going to be a little difficult because I'm not used to doing it so early, but this is the only way I'll be able to get myself to do it as a habit, is by forcing myself to kind of do it. So, I've been wanting to do morning Bible readings because I just think it's important to get started with at least some sort of reading. So, it's October 14th, 6 in the morning. I don't usually get started until like 10 or 11, but I want to try to get started a little earlier today because it's the weekend. So, um, thinking hard or over easy eggs with hash browns sound kind of good. And then I'll go buy some eggs and start eating that as part of the diet. Okay. All right. Second Kings, chapters 21 to 25. Let me turn this on. And then First Chronicles 1 to 4. Mm-hmm. So I'm on a very minimum number of sleep tonight. I did, I think, 3 to 4 hours. So I'll probably take a nap sometime today, maybe when I come back to do my dialysis. So as soon as I'm done reading this, what chapter did I say? I think 21. Yeah, 21. Um, I've been wanting to start throwing away my dialysis stuff before I leave in the morning. And I'd like to have that as a habit before Sephi comes back. So, okay. Well, I'm draining right now, so I can't do it. But once I'm done reading, let's disconnect. Let's throw away the dialysis stuff. Let's write in all the stats. So I've been meaning to do that as well. And then I'll set up for tonight, for today. So that way I can just come back and do it when I get ready. So, okay. All right, 2 Kings 21. Manasseh was 12 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 55 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Hephzibah. He did what was bad in Jehovah's eyes, following the detestable practices of the nations that Jehovah had driven out from before the people of Israel. He rebuilt the high places that his father Hezekiah had destroyed, and he set up altars to Baal and made a sacred pole, just as Ahab the king of Israel had done. He bowed down to all the army of the heavens and served them. He also built altars in the house of Jehovah, about which Jehovah had said, "In Jerusalem I will put my name." And he built altars to the army of the heavens in 2 courtyards of the house of Jehovah, and he made his own son pass through the fire. He practiced magic, looked for omens, and appointed spirit mediums and fortune tellers. He did on a grand scale what was bad in Jehovah's eyes to offend him. He put the carved image of the sacred pole that he made into the house about which Jehovah had said to David and to his son Solomon, in this house and in Jerusalem, which I have chosen out of all the tribes of Israel, I will permanently put my name, and I will never again make the feet of Israel wander from that land that I gave to their forefathers, provided that they carefully observe that I have commanded them, the entire law that my servant Moses ordered them to follow. But they did not obey, and Manasseh kept leading them astray, causing them to do greater evil than the nations that Jehovah had annihilated from before the Israelites. Jehovah kept speaking through his servants, the prophets, saying, Manasseh, the king of Judah, has done all these detestable things. He has acted more wickedly than all the Amorites before him. And he has made Judah sin with his disgusting idols. Therefore, this is what Jehovah, the God of Israel, says. Here I am bringing such a disaster on Jerusalem and Judah that it will make both ears of anyone who hear it about it tingle. And I will stretch out on Jerusalem the measuring line applied to Samaria, and use the leveling tool applied to the house of Ahab. And I will wipe Jerusalem clean, just as one wipes a bowl clean, wiping it and turning it upside down. I will forsake the remnant of my inheritance, and give them into the hand of their enemies, and they will become plunder and spoil to all their enemies, because they did what was bad in my eyes and were continually offending me from the day that their forefathers came out of Egypt to this day. Manasseh also shed innocent blood in very great quantity until he had filled Jerusalem from one end to the other. Beside his sin of causing Judah to sin by doing what was bad in the eyes of Jehovah. Oh, man. As for the rest of the history of Manasseh and all that he did and the sins that he committed, are they not written in the book of the history of the times of the kings of Judah? Then Manasseh was laid to rest with his forefathers and was buried in the garden of his house, in the garden of Uzzah, and his son Amon became king in his place. So, I can't say it now because I'm not quite done with it. But I really feel like I'm reading an index with maybe like a annotated bibliography, or this is the annotated bibliography for some bigger body of work, which would make sense because these are all separate books that have been kind of crammed together. But still, though, it's just weird because I spent so much of my life thinking that this was just supposed to be like the ultimate be-all, end-all book of all things, which really, it's got a lot of information in it. I won't lie about it, but I just have to say it because there's just so much in it, but it's missing a lot. So it feels like it's been shortened. So I like it though. It's definitely one of the few books I've been able to immerse myself in for sure. When I finish reading it, when I finish doing the second set of readings, I think the third set of readings will be to attempt to create my own visual representation of what I got out of it. Sort of like what I'm going to do with the textbooks. All right. Amon was 22 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 2 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Meshullemeth, the daughter of Haruz from Jotbah. Oh, whoa. Wow. Sorry, it's draining right now, and I was not expecting it to drain another 3,200. Holy crap. That's ridiculous. No wonder. Oh, yeah, I really need to take advantage of this and not have any non water drinks today. Just water. Let's clear myself out. All right. And then maybe I'll do some fruit or something. All right. He continued to do what is bad in Jehovah's eyes, just as his father Manasseh had done. He kept walking in all the ways that his father walked, and he continued serving and bowing down to the disgusting idols that his father had served. So he abandoned Jehovah, the God of his forefathers, and he did not walk in the way of Jehovah. Eventually Amon's servants conspired against him and put the king to death in his own house. But the people of the land struck down all those who conspired against King Amon, and they made his son Josiah king in his place. As for the rest of the history of Amon, what he did, is it not written in the book of the history of the times of the kings of Judah? So they buried him in his grave in the garden of Uzzah, and his son Josiah became king in his place. 2 Kings 22. Josiah was 8 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 31 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Jedidah, the daughter of Adiah from Bozkath. He did what was right in Jehovah's eyes and walked in all the ways of David his forefather, and he did not deviate to the right or to the left. In the 18th year of King Josiah, the king sent Shaphan, the secretary, the son of Azaliah, the son of Meshullam, to the house of Jehovah, saying, "Go up to Hilkiah, the high priest." Oh, so that's who Casey's. So my uncle, I remember Hilkiah being a significant figure. So he's a high priest, okay. "And let him collect all the money that is being brought into the house of Jehovah, which the doorkeepers have collected from the people. Have them give it to those appointed over the work in the house of Jehovah, who in turn will give it to the workers of the house of Jehovah who are to repair the damage to the house." That is, to the craftsmen, the builders, and the masons, and they are to use it to buy timbers and hewn stones to repair the house. But no accounting should be required of them for the money that they are given, because they are trustworthy. Later, Hilkiah the high priest said to Shaphan the secretary, "I have found the book of the law in the house of Jehovah." So Hilkiah gave the book to Shaphan, who began to read it. Then Shaphan the secretary went to the king and told him, "Your servants have poured out the money that was found in the house, and they have handed it over to those appointed over the work in the house of Jehovah." Shaphan the secretary also told the king, "There is a book that Hilkiah the priest has given me." Then Shaphan began to read it before the king. As soon as the king heard the words of the book of the law, he ripped his garments apart. Then the king gave this order to Hilkiah the priest, Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, Akbor, the son of Micaiah, Shaphan, the secretary, and Asaiah, the king's servant, "Go inquire of Jehovah in my behalf, in behalf of the people, and in behalf of all Judah, concerning the words of this book that has been found. For Jehovah's rage that has been set ablaze against us is great, because our forefathers did not obey the words of this book by observing all that is written concerning us." So Hilkiah the priest, Ahikam, Akbor, Shaphan, and Asaiah went to Huldah the prophetess. She was the wife of Shallum, son of Tikvah, son of Harhas, the caretaker of the wardrobe, and she was dwelling in the second quarter of Jerusalem. And they spoke to her there. She said to them, "This is what Jehovah, the God of Israel, says. Tell the man who sent you to me. This is what Jehovah says. I will bring calamity on this place and its inhabitants, all the words of the book that the king of Judah has read, because they have abandoned me and are making sacrifices smoke to other gods, in order to offend me with all the work of their hands. My rage will be set ablaze against this place, and it will not be extinguished. But to the king of Judah, who sent you to inquire of Jehovah, this is what you should say to him. This is what Jehovah, the God of Israel, says regarding the words you have heard. Because your heart was responsive, and you humbled yourself before Jehovah on hearing what I have spoken against this place and its inhabitants, that they would become an object of horror and a curse, and you ripped your garments apart and wept before me, I also have heard you, declares Jehovah. That is why I will gather you to your ancestors, and you will be laid in your grave in peace, and your eyes will not see all the calamity that I will bring on this place." Then they brought the reply to the king. Dang. Pulled off over 3 liters. That is so ridiculous. All right. 2 Kings 23. So the king sent word, and they summoned all the elders of Judah and Jerusalem. After that, the king went up to the house of Jehovah with all the men of Judah, all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, the priests and the prophets, all the people from small to great. He read in their hearing all the words of the book of the covenant that had been found in the house of Jehovah. The king stood by the pillar and made a covenant before Jehovah, that he would follow Jehovah and keep his commandments, his reminders, and his statutes with all his heart and with all his soul, by carrying out the words of this covenant that were written in this book, and all the people agreed to the covenant. The king then ordered Hilkiah, the high priest, the priests of the second rank, and the doorkeepers to bring out the temple of Jehovah all the utensils made for Baal for the sacred pole, and for all the army of the heavens. Then he burnt them outside Jerusalem on the terraces of Kidron, and he took their ashes to Bethel. So he put out of business the foreign god priests, whom the kings of Judah had appointed to make sacrificial smoke on the high places with the cities of Judah and the surroundings of Jerusalem, as well as those making sacrificial smoke to Baal, to the sun, to the moon, to the constellations of the zodiac, and to all the army of the heavens. He brought the sacred pole out from the house of Jehovah and to all the army of the heavens. He brought the sacred pole out from the house of Jehovah to the outskirts of Jerusalem, to the Kidron Valley, and he burnt it. And the Kidron Valley and in the Kidron Valley and ground it to dust, and scattered its dust on the graves of the common people. He also tore down the houses of the male temple prostitutes, which were in the house of Jehovah, and where the women were weaving tent shrines for the sacred pole. Then he brought all the priests out of the cities of Judah, and he made unfit for worship the high places where the priests had been making sacrificial smoke, from Geba to Beersheba. He also tore down the high places of the gates that were at the entrance of the gate of Joshua, the chief of the city, which were on the left as one entered the city gate. The priests of the high places did not serve at the altar of Jehovah in Jerusalem, but they did eat unleavened bread along with their brothers. He also made unfit for worship Topheth, which is in the valley of the sons of Hinnom, so that no one could make his son or his daughter pass through the fire to Moloch. And he prohibited the horses that the kings of Judah had dedicated to the sun from entering the house of Jehovah by the chamber of Nathan-Melech, the court official, which was in the porticos, and he burns the chariots of the sun in the fire. The king also tore the altars that the king of Judah had set up on the roof of Ahaz's upper chamber, as well as the altars that Manasseh had set up in 2 courtyards in the house of Jehovah. He crushed them and scattered their dust in the Kidron Valley, and the king made unfit for worship the high places in front of Jerusalem that were to the south of the Mount of Ruination, which Solomon the king of Israel had built to Ashtoreth, the disgusting goddess of the Sidonians, and to Chemosh, the disgusting god of Moab, and to Milcom, the detestable god of the Ammonites. He broke the sacred pillars to pieces and cut down the sacred poles, and filled their places with human bones. He also tore down the altar in Bethel, the high place that Jeroboam the son of Nebat had made, that caused Israel to sin. After tearing down that altar and the high place, he burnt the high place, ground it to dust, and burnt the sacred pole. When Josiah turned and saw the graves on the mountain, he had the bones taken from the graves and burnt them on the altar, making it unfit for worship, according to Jehovah's word that had been proclaimed by the man of the true God who foretold the things that would happen. Then he said, "What is the gravestone over there that I am looking at?" At this, the men of the city said to him, "It is the grave of the man of the true God from Judah who foretold these things that you have done against the altar of Bethel." So he said, let him rest. Do not disturb anyone, or do not disturb his bones. So they left his bones undisturbed, as well as the bones of the prophet who had come from Samaria. Josiah also removed all the houses of worship on the high places that were in the cities of Samaria, which the kings of Israel had built to offend God. And he did the same thing to them that he had done at Bethel. So he sacrificed on the altars of the priests of the high places who were there, and he burnt human bones on them. After that he returned to Jerusalem. The king now commanded all the people, "Hold the Passover to Jehovah your God, as is written in this book of the covenant. No Passover like this had been held since the days when the judges had judged Israel, or in all the days of the kings of Israel and the kings of Judah. But in the 18th year of King Josiah, this Passover to Jehovah was held in Jerusalem. Josiah also cleared out the spirit mediums, the fortune tellers, the teraphim statues, the disgusting idols, and all the disgusting things that had appeared in the land of Judah and in Jerusalem, in order to carry out the words of the law that were written in the book that Hilkiah the priest had found in the house of Jehovah. There was no king like him prior to him, who returned to Jehovah with all his heart and with all his soul, and with all his strength, according to all the law of Moses, nor did anyone like him rise up after him. Nevertheless, Jehovah did not turn away from his burning anger that blazed against Judah because of all the offensive things that Manasseh had done to offend him. Jehovah said, I will also remove Judah from my sight, just as I removed Israel, and I will reject this city that I chose, Jerusalem, and the house about which I said, my name will continue there. As for the rest of the history of Josiah, all that he did, is it not written in the book of the history of the times of the kings of Judah? In his days, Pharaoh Necho, the king of Egypt, came to meet the king of Assyria by the Euphrates River, and King Josiah went out to confront him. But when Necho saw him, he put him to death at Megiddo. So his servant transported his dead body in a chariot from Megiddo, and brought him to Jerusalem, and buried him in his grave. Then the people of the land took Josiah's son Jehoahaz, and anointed him, and made him king in place of his father. Jehoahaz was 23 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 3 months in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah from Libnah. He began to do what was bad in Jehovah's eyes, according to all that his forefathers had done. Pharaoh Necho imprisoned him at Riblah in the land of Hamath to keep him from reigning in Jerusalem, and then imposed on the land a fine of 100 silver talents and a gold talent. Furthermore, Pharaoh Necho made Josiah's son Eliakim king in place of his father Josiah, and changed his name to Jehoiakim. But he took Jehoahaz and brought him into Egypt, where he eventually died. Jehoiakim gave the silver and the gold to Pharaoh, but he had to tax the land to give the silver that Pharaoh demanded. He enacted an assessed amount of silver and gold from each of the people of the land to give to Pharaoh Necho. Jehoiakim was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 11 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Zebidah, the daughter of Pedaiah from Rumah. He continued to do what was bad in Jehovah's eyes, according to all that his forefathers had done. 2 Kings 24. In Jehoiakim's days, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came against him, and Jehoiakim became his servant for 3 years. However, he turned against him and rebelled. Then Jehovah began to send against him marauder bands of Chaldeans, Syrians, Moabites, and Ammonites. He kept sending them against Judah to destroy it, according to Jehovah's word, that he had spoken through his servants, the prophets. Surely it was by the order of Jehovah that this happened to Judah, to remove them from his sight because of all the sins that Manasseh had committed, and also the innocent blood that he had shed. For he had filled Jerusalem with innocent blood, and Jehovah was not willing to forgive. As for the rest of the history of Jehoiakim, all that he did, is it not written in the book of the history of the times of the kings of Judah? Then Jehoiakim was laid to rest with his forefathers, and his son Jehoiakim became king in his place. Never again did the king of Egypt venture out of his land, for the king of Babylon had taken all that belonged to the king of Egypt, from the Wadi of Egypt up to the Euphrates River. Jehoiakim was 18 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 3 months in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Nehushta, the daughter of Elnathan of Jerusalem. He continued to do what was bad in Jehovah's eyes, according to all that his father had done. During that time, the servants of King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came up against Jerusalem, and the city came under siege. King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came to the city while his servants were laying siege to it. King Jehoiakim of Judah went out to king of Babylon, along with his mother, his servants, his princes, and his court officials. And the king of Babylon took him captive in the 8th year of his reign. Then he took out from there all the treasures of the house of Jehovah and the treasures of the king's house. He cut into pieces all the gold utensils that Solomon, the king of Israel, had made in the temple of Jehovah. This happened just as Jehovah had foretold. He took into exile all Jerusalem, all the princes, all the mighty warriors, and every craftsman and metalworker. He took 10,000 into exile. No one was left behind except the poorest people of the land. Thus he took Jehoiakim into exile to Babylon. He also led away the king's mother, the king's wives, his court officials, and the foremost men of the land, taking them into exile from Jerusalem to Babylon. The king of Babylon also took into exile to Babylon all the warriors, 7,000, as well as 10,000 craftsmen and metalworkers, all of them mighty men and trained for war. The king of Babylon made Mattaniah, Jehoiakim's uncle, king in his place, and changed his name to Zedekiah. Zedekiah was 21 years old when he became king, and he reigned for 11 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name was Hamutal, the daughter of Jeremiah from Libnah. He continued to do what was bad in Jehovah's eyes, according to all that Jehoiakim had done. It was because Jehovah's anger that these things took place in Jerusalem and in Judah, until he cast them out of his sight, and Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon. 2 Kings 25. In the 9th year of Zedekiah's reign, in the 10th month, on the 10th day of this month, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon came with all his army against Jerusalem. He camped against it and built a siege wall all around it, and the city was under siege until the 11th year of King Zedekiah. On the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine was severe in the city, and there was no food for the people in the land. The city wall was broken through, and all the soldiers fled by night through the gate between the double wall near the king's garden, while the Chaldeans were surrounding the city, and the king went by way of Arabah. But the Chaldean army pursued the king, and they overtook him in the desert plains of Jericho, and all his troops were scattered from his side. Then they seized the king and brought him up to the king of Babylon at Riblah, and they passed sentence on him. They slaughtered Zedekiah's sons before his eyes. Then Nebuchadnezzar blinded Zedekiah's eyes, bound him with copper fetters, and brought him to Babylon. In the 5th month, on the 7th day of the month, that is, in the 19th year of King Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, Nebuzaradan, the chief of the guard, the servant of the king of Babylon, came to Jerusalem. He burnt down the house of Jehovah, the king's house, and all the houses of Jerusalem. He also burnt down the house of every prominent man, and the walls surrounding Jerusalem were pulled down by the entire Chaldean army that was with the chief of the guard. Nebuzaradan, the chief of the guard, took into exile the rest of the people who were left in the city, the deserters who had gone over to the king of Babylon, and the rest of the population. But the chief of the guard left some of the poorest people of the land to serve as vine dressers and as compulsory laborers. And the Chaldeans broke into pieces the copper pillars of the house of Jehovah, and the carriages and the copper sea that were in the house of Jehovah, and they carried the copper away to Babylon. They also took the cans, like shovels, the extinguishers, the cups, and the copper utensils used in the temple service. The chief of the guard took the fire holders and the bowls that were of genuine gold and silver. As for the 2 pillars, the sea, and the carriages that Solomon had made for the house of Jehovah, the copper of all these articles was beyond weighing. Each pillar was 18 cubits high, and the capital on it was of copper, and the height of the capital was 3 cubits. And the network of pomegranates all around the capital were all made of copper. The second pillar with its network was like it. The chief of the guard also took Sariah, the chief priest, Zephaniah, the second priest, and the 3 doorkeepers. And he took from the city 1 court official, who was the commissioner over the soldiers, 5 close associates of the king who were found in the city, as well as the secretary of the chief of the army, the one mustering the people of the land, and 60 men of the common people of the land who were yet found in the city. Nebuzaradan, the chief of the guard, took them and brought them to the king of Babylon at Riblah. The king of Babylon struck them down and put them to death at Riblah in the land of Hamath. Thus Judah went into exile from its land. King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon appointed Gedaliah, the son of Ahikam, the son of Shaphan, over the people whom he had left behind in the land of Judah. When all the army chiefs and all their men heard that the king of Babylon had appointed Gedaliah, they immediately came to Gedaliah at Mizpah. They were Ishmael, the son of Nethaniah, Johanan, the son of Kareah, Sariah, the son of Tanhumeth, the Netophathite, and Jazaniah, the son of Maacathite, together with their men. Gedaliah swore an oath to them and their men, and said to them, "Do not be afraid of being servants to the Chaldeans. Live in the land and serve the king of Babylon, and it will go well with you." And in the 7th month, Ishmael, son of Nethaniah, son of Elishama, who was of the royal line, came with 10 other men, and they struck down Gedaliah and he died, along with the Jews and the Chaldeans who were with him in Mizpah. After that, all the people, from small to great, including the army chiefs, rose up and went to Egypt, for they were afraid of the Chaldeans. And in the 37th year of the exile of King Jehoiakim of Judah, in the 12th month, on the 27th day of the month, King Evil-Merodach of Babylon, in the year he became king, released King Jehoiakim of Judah from prison. He spoke kindly with him and put his throne higher than the thrones of the other kings who were with him in Babylon. So Jehoiakim took off his prison garments, and he regularly ate before him all the days of his life. A regular allowance of food was given him from the king, day after day, all the days of his life. End of 2 Kings 25. End of 2 Kings. And that'll be the start of 1 Chronicles. And I'm going to pause for a minute because I'm going to go ahead and throw some stuff on the stove. All right, so on the stove. All right, beginning of 1 Chronicles, 1 Chronicles 1. The first of Chronicles. Adam, Seth, Enosh, Canaan, Mahalalel, Jared, Enoch, Methuselah, Lamech, Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshech, and Tiras. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Riphath, and Togarmah. The sons of Javan were Elisha, Tarshish, Kittim, and Rodanim. The sons of Ham were Cush, Mizraim, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Seba, Havilah, Sabta, Raama, Sabteka. The sons of Raama were Sheba and Dedan. Cush became father to Nimrod. He was the first to become a mighty one on the earth. Mizraim became father to Ludim, Anamim, Lehabim, Naphtahim, Pathrusim, Casluhim, from whom the Philistines came, and Caphtorim. Canaan became father to Sidon, his firstborn, and Heth, as well as the Jebusite, the Amorite, the Girgashite, the Hivite, the Arkite, the Sinite, the Arvadite, and the Zemarite, and the Hamathite. The sons of Shem were Elam, Ashur, Arpachshad, Lud, and Aram, and Uz, Hul, Gether, and Mash. Arpachshad became father to Shelah, and Shelah became father to Eber. 2 sons were born to Eber. The name of the one was Peleg, because in his lifetime the earth was divided. The name of his brother was Joktan. Joktan became father to Almadad, Shalef, Hazarmaveth, Jerah, Hadoram, Uzal, Dikla, Obal, Abimael, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, and Jobab. All of these were the sons of Joktan. Shem, Arpachshad, Shelah, Eber, Peleg, Reu, Serug, Nahor, Terah. Abram, that is Abraham. The sons of Abraham were Isaac and Ishmael. These are their mighty family origins. Ishmael's firstborn, Nebaioth, then Kedar, Adbeel, Mibsam, Mishma, Duma, Massa, Hadad, Tema, Jetur, Naphish, and Kedemah. These were the sons of Ishmael. The sons that Keturah, Abraham's concubine, gave birth to were Zimran, Jokshan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shua. The sons of Jokshan were Sheba and Dedan. The sons of Midian were Ephah, Epher, Hanok, Abida, and Eldaah. All of these were the sons of Keturah. Abraham became father to Isaac. The sons of Isaac were Esau and Israel. The sons of Esau were Eliphaz, Royal, Jeush, Jalam, and Korah. The sons of Eliphaz were Teman, Omar, Zepho, Getam, Kenaz, Timnah, and Amalek. The sons of Reuel were Nahath, Zerah, Shammah, and Mizah. The sons of Sair were Lotan, Shobal, Zibeon, Anah, Dishon, Ezer, and Dishan. The sons of Lotan were Horai and Homam. Lotan's sister was Timnah. The sons of Shobal were Alvan, Manahath, Ebal, Shepho, and Onam. The sons of Zibeon were Aya and Anna. The sons of Anna was Dishon. The sons of Dishon were Hemdan, Eshban, Ithran, and Keran. The sons of Ezer were Bilhan, Zaavan, and Akan. The sons of Dishan were Uz and Aran. These are the kings who reigned in the land of Edom before any king reigned over the Israelites. Bela, the son of Beor, the name of his city was Dinhabah. When Bela died, Jobab, the son of Zerah from Basra, began to reign in his place. When Jobab died, Husham from the land of the Temanites began to reign in his place. When Husham died, Hadad, the son of Bedad, who defeated Midian in the territory of Moab, began to reign in his place. The name of his city was Avith. When Hadad died, Samlah from Masrekah began to reign in his place. When Samlah died, Shaul from Rehoboth by the river began to reign in his place. When Shaul died, Baalhanan, the son of Akbor, began to reign in his place. When Baalhanan died, Hadad began to reign in his place. The name of his city was Pau, and the name of his wife was Mehetabel, the daughter of Matred, the daughter of Mezahab. Then Hadad died. The sheiks of Edom were Sheikh Timnah, Sheikh Alva, Sheikh Japheth, Sheikh Oholibamah, Sheikh Elah, Sheikh Pinon, Sheikh Kenaz, Sheikh Taman, Sheikh Mibzar, Sheikh Magdil, Sheikh Ibram. These are the sheiks of Edom. These are the sons of Israel: Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Issachar, Zebulun, Dan, Joseph, Benjamin, Naphtali, Gad, and Asher. The sons of Judah were Onan, and Shelah. These three were born to him from Shua's daughter, the Canaanitess. But Judah's firstborn, was displeasing to Jehovah, so he put him to death. Tamar, Judah's daughter-in-law, bore to him Perez and Zerah. Judah had 5 sons in all. The sons of Perez were Hezron and Hamul. The sons of Zerah were Zimri, Ethan, Heman, Calcol, and Dara. There were 5 of them in all. The son of Carmi was Achar, who brought disaster on Israel, who was unfaithful with regard to what had been devoted to destruction. The son of Ethan was Azariah. The sons of Hezron were born to him were Jeremiel, Ram, and Chelebai. Ram became father to Amminadab. Amminadab became father to Nahshon, the chieftain of the descendants of Judah. Nahshon became father to Salma. Salma became father to Boaz. Boaz became father to Obed. Obed became father to Jesse. Jesse became father to his firstborn Eliab. Amminadab the second, Shimeah the third, Nethanel the fourth, Radai the fifth, Ozem the sixth, and David the seventh. Their sisters were Zeruiah and Abigail. The sons of Zeruiah were Abishai, Joab, and Asahel, 3. Abigail gave birth to Amasa, and the father of Amasa was Jether the Ishmaelite. Caleb, the son of Hezron, became father to sons by his wife, Azubah, and by Jeriath. And these were her sons, Jesher, Shobab, and Ardon. When Azubah died, Caleb married Ephrath, and she bore Hur to him. Hur became father to Uri. Uri became father to Bezalel. Afterward, Hezron had relations with the daughter of Machir, the father of Gilead. He married her when he was 60 years old, and she bore Segub to him. Segub became father to Jair, who had 23 cities in the land of Gilead. Later Geshur and Syria took Havoth Jair from them, along with Kenath and its dependent towns, 60 cities. All of these were the descendants of Machir, the father of Gilead. After the death of Hezron in Caleb Ephrathah, Abijah, the wife of Hezron, bore him Asher, the father of Tekoa. The sons of Jeremiel, the firstborn of Hezron, were Ram, the firstborn, Bunah, Oren, Ozem, and Ahijah. Jeremiel had another wife whose name was Atara. She was the mother of Onan. The sons of Ram, the firstborn of Jeremiel, were Maaz, Jamin, and Eker. The sons of Onam were Shammai and Jadah. The sons of Shammai were Nadab and Abishur. The name of Abishur's wife was Abihail, who bore him Aban and Molid. The sons of Nadab were Seled and Appaim. But Seled died without sons. The son of Appaim was Ishi, and the son of Ishi was Shishan, and the son of Shishan, Ali. The sons of Jada, the brother of Shammai, were Jether and Jonathan. But Jether died without sons. And the sons of Jonathan were Peleth and Zaza. These were the descendants of Jeremiel. Sheshan had no sons, only daughters. Now Sheshan had an Egyptian servant whose name was Jarha. Sheshan gave his daughter to be wife of his servant Jarha, and she bore him Ettai. Ettai became father to Nathan. Nathan became father to Zabad. Zabad became father to Ephalal. Ephalal became father to Obed. Obed became father to Jehu. Jehu became father to Azariah. Azariah became father to Helez. Helez became father to Eleasah. Eleasah became father to Sismai. Sismai became father to Shalom. Shalom became father to Jechamiah. Jechamiah became father to Elishama. The sons of Caleb, the brother of Jeremiel, were Mesha, his firstborn, who was the father of Ziph, and the sons of Marashah, the father of Hebron. The sons of Hebron were Korah, Tapua, Rechem, and Shema. Shema became father to Rahem, the father of Jorkiam. Rechem became father to Shammai. The son of Shammai was Maon. Maon was the father of Bethzur. Caleb's concubine Ephah gave birth to Haran, Moza, and Gazez. Haran became father to Gazez. The sons of Jahdai were Regem, Jotham, Geshen, Pelet, Ephah, and Sha'af. Caleb's concubine Ma'akah gave birth to Sheber and Tirhana. In time, she bore Sha'af, the father of Madmana, and Sheva, the father of Macbena and Gibeah. Caleb's daughter was Aksa. These were the descendants of Caleb. The sons of Hur, the firstborn of Ephrathah, were Shobal, the father of Kiriath Jearim, Salmna, the father of Bethlehem, and Haraph, the father of Bethgeder. Shobal, the father of Kiriath Jearim, had sons, Haroeh, and half of the Menuhath. The families of Kiriath Jearim were the Ithrites, the Puthites, the Shumathites, and the Mishraites. It was from these that the Zorathites and the Eshtaolites came. The sons of Salma were Bethlehem, the Netophathites, Adroth Beth Joab, half of the Manahathites, and the Zorites. The families of the scribes dwelling at Jabez were the Tirathites, the Shimeathites, and the Succothites. These were the Kenites who came from Hamath, the father of the house of Rechab. 1 Chronicles 3. These were the sons of David who were born to him in Hebron. The firstborn Amnon, whose mother was Ahinoam of Jezreel. The second Daniel, whose mother was Abigail the Carmelite. The third Absalom, the son of Maacah, the daughter of Talmai, the king of Geshur. The fourth Adonijah, the son of Haggith. The fifth Shephatiah, whose mother was Abital. The sixth Ithream, whose mother was David's wife Eglah. These six were born to him in Hebron. He reigned there for 7 years and 6 months. and for 33 years he reigned in Jerusalem. These were born to him in Jerusalem: Shemaiah, Shobab, Nathan, and Solomon. The mother of these four was Bathsheba, the daughter of Amiel, and 9 other sons were Ibhar, Elishama, Eliphelet, Noga, Nepheg, Japhiah, Elishama, Eliada, and Eliphelet. All of these were the sons of David, besides the sons of the concubines, and Tamar was their sister. The son of Solomon was Rehoboam. Abijah was his son, Asa his son, Jehoshaphat his son, Jehoram his son, Ahijah his son, Jehoash his son, Amaziah his son, Azariah his son, Jotham his son, Ahaz his son, Hezekiah his son, Manasseh his son, Amon his son, Josiah his son. The sons of Josiah were the firstborn Johanan, the second Jehoiakim, the third Zedekiah, the fourth Shallum. The sons of Jehoiakim were Jeconiah, the son of Zedekiah his son. The sons of Jeconiah, the prisoner, were Shealtiel, Malchiram, Pedaiah, Shenazar, Jechemiah, Hoshama, and Nedabiah. The sons of Pedaiah were Zerubbabel and Shimei. And the sons of Zerubbabel were Meshullam and Hananiah. And Shelomith was their sister. And 5 other sons were Hashubah, Ohel, Berechiah, Hasadiah, and Jushabhesed. And the sons of Hananiah were Pelatiah and Jeshaiah. The son of Jeshaiah was Raphiah. The son of Raphiah was Arnan. The son of Arnan was Obadiah. The son of Obadiah was Shechaniah. And the sons of Shechaniah were Shemaiah. And the sons of Shemaiah, Hattush, Yigal, Beriah, Neariah, and Shaphat, 6 in all. And the sons of Neariah were Elioenai, Hizkiah, and Azrikam, 3. And the sons of Elioenai were Hodaviah, Eliashib, Peliah, Akub, Johanan, Deliah, and Anani, 7. And then finally, 1 Chronicles 4. The sons of Judah were Perez, Hezron, Carmi, Hur, and Shobal. Reiah, the son of Shobal, became father to Jahath. Jahath became father to Ahumai and Lahad. These were the families of the Zorathites. These were the sons of the father of Etam, Jezreel, Ishma, and Idbash. And the name of their sister was Hazelelponi. And Penuel was the father of Gedor, and Ezer was the father of Hushah. These were the sons of Hur, the firstborn of Ephrathah, and the father of Bethlehem. Ashur, the father of Tekoa, had 2 wives, Helah and Naarah. Naarah bore to him Ahuzam, Hefer, Temeni, and Haahashtari. These were the sons of Naarah. And the sons of Helah were Zereth, Izhar, and Ethnan. Koz became father to Anab, Zobebah, and the families of Aharel, the son of Harum. Man, these are hard names. Jabez was more honorable than his brothers, and his mother named him Jabez, saying, I gave birth to him in pain. Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, Oh, that you would bless me and enlarge my territory, and let your hand be with me, and preserve me from calamity, so that it may bring no harm to me. So God brought about what he had asked for. Chilub, the brother of Shua, became father to Mahir, who was the father of Eshton. Eshton became father to Bethraphah, Paseah, and Tehinnah, the father of Irnahash. These were the men of Rekah, and the sons of Kenaz were Othniel and Sariah, and the son of Othniel was Hathath. Meonothai became father to Ophrah. Sariah became father to Joab, the father of Geharashim, so called because they were craftsmen. The sons of Caleb, the son of Jephunneh, were Eru, Elah, and Naam, and the son of Elah was Kenaz. The sons of Jehalelel were Ziph, Ziphah, Tiria, and Asarel. The sons of Ezra were Jether, Mered, Epher, and Jalon. She conceived and bore Miriam. Shammai and Ishba, the father of Eshtemoa, and his Jewish wife gave birth to Jerad, the father of Gedor, Heber, the father of Soko, and Jekuthiel, the father of Zanoam. These were the sons of Bethaim, the daughter of Pharaoh, whom Mered married. The sons of Hodiah's wife, the sister of Naham, were the fathers of Caleb, the Garmite, and Eshtemoa, the Maacathite. And the sons of Shimon were Amnon, Rinnah, and Benhanan, and Tilon. And the sons of Ishi were Zoheth and Benzoheth. The sons of Shelah, the sons of Judah, were the father of Leka, Laadah, the father of Marashah, and the families of the workers of fine fabric of the house of Ashbea, and Joachim, the men of Kozeba, Joash, and Seraph, who became husbands of Moabite women, and Jashu-Bilahem. These records are ancient. They were the potters who lived in Netaim and Gedera. They lived there and worked for the king. The sons of Simeon and Nemuel were Nemuel, Jamin, Jarib, Zerah, and Shaul. Shalom, his son, Mibsam, his son, Mishma, his son. And the sons of Mishma were Hamuel, his son, Zechar, his son, Shimei, his son. And Shimei had 16 sons and 6 daughters, but his brothers did not have many sons, and none of their families had many as men as Judah had. They lived in Beersheba, Moladah, Hazar-Shual, Bilhah, Ezem, Tolad, Bethuel, Hormah, Ziklag, Beth-Markaboth, Hazar-Susim, Bethbiri, and Sha'araim. These were their cities until the reign of David. Their settlements were Etam, Ain, Rimmon, Token, and Ashan, 5 cities, along with their settlements that were all around these cities as far as Baal. These were their genealogical enrollment and the places where they had lived. And Meshobab, Jamlech, Joshua, the son of Amaziah, Joel, Jehu, son of Joshabiah, son of Sariah, son of Asiel, and Elioenai, Jaakobah, Jeshoiah, Asaiah, Adil, Jesimiel, Benaiah, and Ziza, son of Shiphi, son of Alon, son of Jedidiah, son of Shimri, son of Shemaiah. These mentioned by name were the chieftains among their families, and the household of their forefathers increased in number. And they went to the entrance of Gedor, to the east side of the valley, to look for pastures for their flocks. They eventually found rich and good pastures, and the land was spacious, quiet, and undisturbed. Those previously lived there were the Hamites. These whose names are listed came during the days of King Hezekiah of Judah and struck down the tents of the Hamites and the Maonim who were there. They devoted them to destruction down to this day, and they settled in their place because there were pastures for their flocks there. Some of the Simeonites, 500 men, went to Mount Seir with Pelatiah, Neriah, Rephaiah, and Uzziel, the sons of Ishi, who led them. And they struck down the rest of the Amalekites who had escaped, and they had lived there down to this day. End of 1 Chronicles 4, and that is the end of AV38.